Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm up in Glencoe. I'm actually doing a little bit of location scouting for a workshop that I'm running in a couple of weeks' time. So I thought I would come up and in particular explore the areas around Loch Achtrioachtan. It's not an area that I have shot particularly often, although I do know it reasonably well, but I tend not to take too many photographs here. So I thought I would rectify that today and bring you guys along with me. Now, before I start, I do actually have a problem. This is my second day in Glencoe. You may have already seen a video from here. And my problem is I managed to break my tripod yesterday again. The foot fell off again. And so I'm kind of limited to handheld shots. I may still try and persevere with a two-footed tripod, but essentially I'm kind of struggling now. So I'm gonna be limited to what I can do. That said, I've come down here and look at that. Is that not absolutely beautiful? It's still early in the morning. It's about 20 minutes after sunrise. So we don't have an awful lot of road traffic, although there is some, as you'll see from time to time. So I'm going to try and make the most of this quiet spell before the tourists start flocking in, and we'll see if I can make something here. In particular, as you probably can't see it in this light at the moment, but there are some beautiful deep green reeds just underneath the surface here. So I'm going to throw a polarizer on and try and emphasise them, make the most of these reeds in the foreground. Indication of some flow there, so I'll use that as a kind of leading line, drawing the eye up to the ridge there and the beautiful reflection of the ridge. Although, and just as my luck would have it, we have a little breeze has picked up and that reflection's been broken up somewhat, but hopefully that breeze will drop down and we'll get the image. So reasonably low, probably something like that. Polarizer to cut down on those foreground reflections. Use these reeds as a leading line, use the line of the water as a leading line, and shoot pretty much that composition. Okay, how about this for a shot? I'm having to wait just now until those cars pass us. There's been a noticeable increase in cars going by, and they've obviously all got their headlights on because it's still relatively dark. But we've got 3, maybe 4 trees just here, and the winds came up again, so it's broken up the reflection, but there was a lovely reflection there, and it was reflecting those greens and browns in the background as well as the grey scree slope, and it was all being perfectly reflected in the loch. So I've already grabbed the shot, so hopefully if it's worked I'll pop it on a screen, but that was essentially what I was shooting there. I'd switched over to the 70 to 300mm lens, and I was in about maybe 150, something like that. 35mm, and basically just filling the frame with those trees, the greens, browns and greys behind them, and also the greens, browns and greys being reflected in the loch. A nice simple shot, but lovely. What I might do as well is shoot up the way to make the most of those little reed beds, something like that, and see if there's a shot there. But one thing at a time. I'll wait and see if we get a little bit more calm conditions in that general direction. You can see the reflections are starting to form down here, but there's just a line of ripples where the water, the surface has been broken up. So it's just a matter of waiting to see if that improves. Right, there's a composition on the back of the camera. I'm playing catch with the traffic on the 82 road. Obviously if a car's coming towards you, you've got the headlights full on and they're destroying the shot. But I'm trying to fire off some frames before the next gust of wind comes in and destroys these beautiful reflections. So kind of up against it with time a little bit. So I'm keeping one eye on the road and the other on the surface of the water, and I'm really just trying to fire off a couple of frames in the hope that one of the images has neither surface ripples or car headlights in it. It's a fairly basic shot. It really is going to be a kind of horizontal right across the centre of the frame image, where you've got the reflection below and the main subject above. But it's a nice basic shot, and I really do like those reflections, so I think it's worth trying to capture. Okay, hopefully I managed to grab a shot there. There's a little elevated area here, so I'm going to stay on this, and I'm going to move slightly more to the right, make more of these reeds and this little area here. Try to include some of the reflections on that side of the loch, because that's a lot more sheltered and it doesn't seem to be breaking up quite as much with the gusts of wind that are coming through. So I'll try and make something of them, and all the while including that incredible ridge with the snow-topped peaks. And as before, keeping an eye out for traffic with the headlights on full blast. Keeps you on your toes, doesn't it? Right, I've come a little further to the right of the loch, and as you can see the loch's become mirror flat. It's just incredible, the reflections just now. So unfortunately a car's just decided to stop and they lay by over there, and I've got the brake lights on and that's being reflected as well. So a wee bit of post-processing needed there, I think. But yeah, that's essentially what I'm going for, that beautiful reflection. As is before, it's just a matter of waiting and trying to get the timing right so that we avoid very obvious cars and buses and lorries going through. But yeah, that looks nice, it looks okay. I don't really have what you would call a foreground interest, unfortunately, because there's nothing really in the loch this far along. I might try and go a bit further and see if that changes, but for now it's simply just a shot with the horizon straight through the middle and the mountains above and the reflection of the mountains below. Very basic shot, but beautiful nevertheless. Right, I'm just making my way along to the edge of the loch here because I've spotted what looks like fence posts going out into the loch, you know, and they're there just to capture photographers, aren't they? We can't resist a fence getting into the loch, can we? So anyway, I'm going along there. It's a little bit more detailed along the loch side here as well. You got these rocks and stuff, so there could well be another possible foreground here. And look at these reflections still. That's incredible, isn't it? So I'm going to go, yeah, there's definitely a fence. I just don't know whether it's possible to get a composition with that fences included. And that's your foreground right there, isn't it? Only one way to find out. The question is, can I get to a point where that, yes I can, where that becomes very obvious. And I would say that this is the point. You want it in the lighter area, and ideally yeah, that looks great, doesn't it? And there's a wee bit of character there. You've got some grass and moss stuck on the fence as well. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I'll just get down a bit lower. No, I think when you go low, too low, you lose the top of the fence post, don't you? I'm going to grab a shot here and then I'll try and get back up again, a wee bit of elevation, and see if it looks better with the top of the fence is below the line of the loch. But that's nice, yeah, and it all added to with these beautiful reflections, eh? Right, another shot coming up. Okay, slightly different composition. What I've done is I've gone portrait orientation, vertical crop, and I've placed the end of this little fence here in that brighter area. It slightly overlaps into the shadow, the reflection of the ridge beyond, but the majority of it is in this brighter part of the loch, so it stands out more. I've gone vertical, as I said, so the image is from about there to about there, cuts off about there, and we include just a little bit of the foreground. But very obviously the fence is kind of front and centre. Now, I'm just waiting in the hope that we get some light, because there seems to be some light starting to spill on at the end of the ridge up there. And we certainly do have some blue sky around us. So I'm just waiting to see if we get any direct light, because that will help in two ways. First of all, it'll give us obviously a wee bit more drama. It'll look a wee bit more photogenic, if you like. But I'm hopeful that if we get some light onto this part of the ridge where it's quite dark, that's the part being reflected that is overlapping the end of the fence post. So if that brightens up, then the theory is its reflection should brighten up, and that will give us a little bit more obvious distinction between the two. I'll give it a couple of minutes, see what happens. I'm also, while I'm here, there's a little line of trees there, and there's what looks like swans in the water. So I'm going to throw the 70 to 300mm lens on again and see if I can get a shot of that. Again, while we still have the reflection and while we still have the swans. Because I think that might make for quite an interesting image, especially if I can include, maybe not so much the reflection this time, but the mountain in the background with that snow. That looks as if it may have a bit of potential there. So, this shot first, and then telephoto shot down the loch towards those trees, get the reflections, and hopefully still have those swans. Yeah, do you know what? I think I prefer this angle. What I've done is I've gone in horizontal again, so I'm kind of here. I'm including these foreground rocks, I'm including the fence, I'm actually including this wooden post here as well. The beautiful reflection, the mountains beyond. Probably somewhere in there there's 3 swans as well, but they're not really being included. I've taken it without a polarising filter, but I'm actually thinking that I might take one with the polarizer, and that is because just under the surface here, you might be able to see it in this camera, there's a whole collection of interestingly shaped rocks and boulders, some of which have moss on them, some of them are a little more redder than others, and so it's quite an interesting foreground. So I might reframe this but with the polarizer and see if that can cut through that reflection and bring out what's just underneath the surface. This is beautiful. Do you know what? It's a funny old game, isn't it? It just dawned on me there. Here's me, I'm standing here taking a picture of a fence that's seen better days. And I'm surrounded with scenery like this. Weird the things photography makes us do. So, but anyway, I've grabbed that shot with the polarizer, and I've pulled out the details under the surface of these kind of moss covered boulders and rocks. So anyway, that'll be it for this video. So hope you enjoyed. Give us a little thumbs up if you did, and if you haven't hit subscribe, then hit subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, bye.